Does she know why she's here? Now I'm on a journey to try and understand what happened.
I feel like mama.
To find answers to questions I've had on my mind for years.
This is it.
What is Trokosi? And why did my family give me away?
Hey, this is Brigitte. Yeah, you're my Uber.
My name is Brigitte Sossou Perenyi. I live and work in Accra, the capital of Ghana. It's the city where I feel most free.
Did you just start it or morning?
Since morning.
Since morning. Oh, okay.
But my first memories in this country are among my darkest. I was trafficked here from my home in neighboring Togo and held in captivity as part of a practice called Trokosi.
You never heard of their belief system, Trokosi?
Yes. It is even practiced in my hometown. And some people are still there.
Some girls are still there.
Some girls are still there.
Trokosi is illegal and it's not often talked about in Accra. But to my surprise, Richard tells me his own grandmother is living as a Trokosi.
But them themselves that are involved, they are not feeling bad because they believe in the system.
This same system robbed me of my childhood. 20 years later, I'm on a journey to understand what really happened. I was told I had to leave home to go and live with my uncle. I was placed on the back of a motorbike. I didn't even know the driver. I thought it was the strong wind causing my tears, but I think I was actually crying because I was being taken away from my family. And then I was left at a place I had never been before. I didn't even understand the language. They took away my clothes and wrapped me in a purple cloth. They even took away my name.
How old is this little girl? 7 years old. Do you know why you're here?
In 1997, I was filmed by an American news crew at the place I was being held, a shrine run by a priest dedicated to the worship of deities. I was labeled a Trokosi, a wife of the gods, paying for a crime committed by a family member.
Do you miss your parents?
Yes.
I remember feeling a range of emotions.
Neglect, rejection, isolation. Adding to that, the idea of that could have been my life. That could have been my life. That could have been my life. And that's why I feel like I don't watch it much.
But this report changed everything. With the help of a charity called International Needs, an American viewer flew to Ghana to negotiate my release. His name was Kenneth Perenyi, and he will become my adoptive father. He took me to the US, where I spent the next 13 years. I was relieved to be out after about a year in the shrine, but there was a huge emptiness that could never be filled.
I was still thinking about my Togolese family, my birth family. But it was in my heart, in my mind. I never stopped thinking about them.
A few years later, my American dad and I agreed I should go and look for them. The charity that freed me helped me find my village and filmed my return. My family had no idea I was coming. I didn't even know if I'd find all of them alive. I hadn't seen my mother since I was 7 years old. found out I even had a little brother who I had never met. That day was so surreal, almost like a dream. Now that I'm older, I feel ready to explore the cultural background of Trokosi. It's practiced in parts of Ghana, Togo, and Benin by various ethnic groups, one of which is the Ewe. I'm driving into Ghana's Volta region, a large area of lakes and rivers where Trokosi is most prevalent. So right now we are following Richard, whom I met the first day of the journey. After our chat in the Uber taxi, Richard invited us into his community to speak with a group of Ewe elders. To mark our arrival, they were saying prayers and pouring libation to their gods. But they believe if you offend the gods, they can bring misfortune. I would like to know if there has ever been a human sacrifice. He's talking about Trokosi, where you are banished from the community to pay for the crimes of your family. Another elder tells me that 2 of her relatives were sent to the shrine. Given this fear of punishment from the gods, I can understand why the Trokosi practice has survived for over 300 years. But for me, life in the shrine meant no life at all. Each day, I was woken at 5 a.m. and sent to fetch water. I had to carry heavy buckets on my head. It was hard physical work for a child. I was made to sweep the compound and work long hours on the farm. I wasn't allowed to play or even go to school. I was in total isolation. On the campus of the University of Ghana, I am meeting up with Dr. Robert Ame and Reverend Walter Pimpong. They are both experts on the Trokosi practice. They've spent their lives raising awareness of the abuses that go on in the shrine.
For the practice to be consummated, there was a need for the traditional priest to sleep with a virgin girl who comes in.
Sexual servitude was common, and many women will bear the children of the priests. I was liberated before puberty, so I didn't have to go through this. But I wanted to know why someone would serve time for another person's crime.
It is believed that they have a right to select any member of their family to serve in their shrine, whether that person committed a crime or not. By the collective principles, they believe they are doing the right thing.
When I left the shrine in 1997, there were about 5. Speaking to her, it seemed she's happy to be serving as a Trokosi. because she believes it protects her family.
You're
fine. Fine.
fine.
As night fell, a young Trokosi girl wearing a blue cloth came to speak to me.
And she's saying that she's 14 years.
Does she know why she's here?
That's what she doesn't know. You know, America Togo.
I felt sad because she missed her mom. And I know how that feels.
For me, growing up without a mother was devastating. What kept me going was a few cherished memories of my early childhood. I remember my mom and dad and 4 siblings, all girls. I'm the second. I was closer to my dad. I think I was a daddy's girl. For dinner, he will build this big fire. He would dig the ground around it and roast corn, peanut, sweet potatoes, and yam. It was so good. It was really good. I remember at night we would lie under the stars and the moon. Life was simple. I'm going to visit my family in Ahasome, the village in Togo where I was born. It's at least a day's journey from the Volta region in Ghana.
We're trying to find the route to my village. It's always a hassle to find it because it's so far away.
I haven't been back for a few years. I felt apprehensive. I've spent my whole life wondering why they give me away, but I've never had the courage to ask. This time, I feel ready to find out the truth.
This is it.
And then you call your brother.
This is it. On the right. It's right here, on the right.
Since I left at the age of 7, I've lost my mother tongue. I've visited a handful of times, but I have to use a translator.
My younger sister. And her baby. My niece.
I wanted to speak to my father. All I knew was that one of my uncles had sent for me, but I had never known what my father had agreed to. My uncle's house was in the capital, Lome, a long way from my village. To find some answers, my father went to a soothsayer.
Are you aware now where I was taken? He took me to Ghana, Volta region of Ghana, and I was placed in a shrine. He left me. I was supposed to be there for the rest of my life. You're not understanding me. I don't want to use the word blame. For many years, I was sad because I was not with my family. But now I'm ready to put that behind me. If I was angry at my family, if I wanted to blame, I won't be here. I won't. Sometimes it's easier just to carry on with your life, accept the way things are. When things don't make sense, tracing your roots and asking questions is too much. The emotions are too much and the weight is too much. Right now, my head hurts. I have a headache.
Last night's conversation with my dad was really difficult, but I needed to know the truth.
I was dwelling on the fact that I couldn't communicate with them and that I was taken away, and that's why I can't speak French, that's why I can't speak Ewe. I was taken away, so I was sort of dwelling on the negative.
My parents were lied to. They thought they sent me to live with my uncle to get a better education. They didn't choose to send me to the shrine, and that was a huge weight off my mind.
From this point forward, we can only build, and the last few days is a start to building that bridge. It's a start to building that relationship, building that connection.
I'm back in the Volta region of Ghana, close to the village where I was held captive in the shrine. Being here is not easy for me, but feeling the love of my family has given me strength to return.
There was a young girl that I was doing the chores with. Her name was Christiana. She was the only one I remember.
We parked up near the shrine. I was paralyzed with fear.
What I remember about this place is pain and loneliness and sadness and isolation, and getting out and walking about doesn't feel natural to me.
I wanted to see if Christiana was still here. I found her still living in the town. 20 years after we were both freed, we recognized each other right away.
Do you know who I am?
Yes.
Who am I?
You are my dear sister. Thank God for your life.
Thank God for your life. We haven't seen each other in so long.
I miss you.
Thank you. I miss you too. I've always thought of you.
After spending 5 years in the shrine, Christiana was also freed after appearing in the 1997 news report. She had never seen it before.
Are you happy here? Do you want to run away? And why don't you run away? Where are your parents? They died.
When my father died, I stopped going to school, even though I had wanted to become a doctor. I feel very sad because by staying here, I have lost my chance at an education.
But that's not your life anymore. You're out. Why are you crying? What's wrong?
I'm supposed to not to be. And I feel like a man.
Yes, we were not supposed to be in there, but we are out now. We are out now.
It was amazing to hear about Christiana's life outside of the shrine.
I'm free. I can decide to go to anywhere. Today I can eat. If I say today I'll eat 10, I can eat. If only I have money. I can wear anything at all.
She showed me her tattoo celebrating her reclaimed name.
How does it make you feel when you look at that?
I feel happy.
Why?
Because I am that I am. That's my name.
Yes.
The name that my parents give to.
Sometimes your past is worth getting back to, not to hold you back, but to strengthen your future. My deep faith in God and the love of my family and friends have allowed me to grow into the person I was born to be.
Somebody decided that was supposed to be our lives. It's incredible that we been given a second chance to have life.